the headlines of this hour on VTV News. National Assembly discusses draft revised law on cultural heritage. Fruit and vegetable export turnover expected to exceed $7 billion. And in our world news, Russian-US defense ministers hold phone talks.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is 3 p.m. local time, and you're tuning in for 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Huynh Trần with the top stories. Continuing the 7 sessions agenda, the National Assembly discussed the draft revised law on cultural heritage on Wednesday morning. More to follow.
Giving feedback on the draft law, National Assembly deputies contributed their opinions on the operation of private and digital museums.
While Vietnam's policy for non-public museums has been studied, it has not followed development trends. The legal corridor is available but unclear, especially conditions and criteria for ranking non-public museums. I request further research to create favorable conditions for private individuals to open museums and help functional agencies easily monitor activities.
I recommend researching and supplementing regulations on digital museums, investing in construction, renovating technical infrastructure, and exhibiting in public museums. Additionally, we should clarify the authority of the Provincial People's Committee and the Provincial Cultural Agency, especially the appraisal authority of museum exhibition content.
Regarding the policy on cultural heritage, deputies requested that resolutions on building and developing Vietnamese culture and people be fully institutionalized to meet the requirements of sustainable national development.
In Article 7 of the draft law, I request that the contents related to policies and strategies for developing cultural industries, digital transformation of culture and cultural heritage, public-private partnership in cultural development, and resource investment in preserving and promoting new cultural heritage be supplemented.
Previously, the National Assembly voted to pass resolutions on piloting special mechanisms and policies for the development of Nghệ An Province and Da Nang City, with most deputies in favor.
State President Tô Lâm attended the ceremony on Wednesday morning, commemorating the 70th anniversary of the traditional day of the Technical Professional Force of the People's Public Security, July 1, 1954 to 2024. The state president praised the silent yet significant achievements and contributions of the Technical Professional Force over the past 70 years, particularly in the Southern Liberation cause, national reunification, and fulfilling international obligations towards the revolutions of Laos and Cambodia. The force has continued to affirm its crucial role and position in technical professional work, effectively combating sabotage plots by hostile forces, participating in major operations, and efficiently countering threats to national security. In the upcoming period, the state leader requests they continue to effectively implement the party's viewpoints and policies on building the people's public security force, developing an upright, disciplined, and skilled technical professional force, aiming for modernization by 2025 to meet new mission requirements. Also, on behalf of the party and state leadership, State President Tô Lâm awarded the second-class military exploit order to the Technical Professional Bureau of the Ministry of Public Security. The first Vietnam-US economic dialogue took place in Washington, D.C. At the dialogue, the two sides discussed proposed solutions in multiple areas, namely a semiconductor technology ecosystem building, energy and key minerals, business environment, high-quality investment attraction, strategic export control, and key information technology infrastructure and network security. Both sides agreed on a number of measures as a basis to begin implementation. The second Vietnam-US economic dialogue is expected to be held in Hanoi next year. The 2024 Select USA Investment Summit officially began on Monday in Washington, D.C., United States. This is the largest forum the U.S. Department of Commerce organizes, with officials from 50 states and territories participating. The largest Vietnamese business delegation also attended the event. More to follow.
The Select USA Investment Summit is an important opportunity for businesses worldwide to seek collaboration opportunities in the U.S. Therefore, the capacity for businesses to connect is maximized. The U.S. Department of Commerce has organized a department to support each delegation, help connect, answer questions, and support even the smallest proposals of businesses. The 9 previous summits have attracted over $200 billion and created more than 200,000 jobs in the U.S. As one of the 7 largest trading partners to the U.S., Vietnamese businesses are working to become trusting partners and investors of the U.S.
We've received lots of timely support. The U.S. Department of Commerce has provided information from the initial stage of meeting investors and partners.
Few Vietnamese businesses specialize in a specific IT field, so focusing on one field will help us have a higher chance of cooperating with U.S. companies.
Compared to last year, about 70 Vietnamese businesses are joining this year's summit, putting Vietnam among the top 5 countries with the most businesses participating in the investment summit.
The fruit and vegetable sector will achieve a turnover of over $7 billion this year. Now, in the first half of the year, the sector earned $3.4 billion in export turnover, thanks to the high market demand and opportunities provided by signed protocols. It secured abundant business orders for the second half of 2024.
This company is signing high-value contracts in new markets along with increasing orders from existing customers.
We've exported longan to Canada and Australia. Recently, a batch of lychees exported to Thailand has also accessed the country's large shopping malls. More new markets are also showing interest in Vietnamese products.
Many businesses are fully booked with orders thanks to the rising demand for deeply processed products.
We expect to export about $45 million for the whole year. We are excited to sign orders until the end of 2024. Our main markets are the US and Europe.
Based on the exporting activities in the first 6 months, the Vietnam Fruit and Vegetable Association assessed that the sector is brimming with confidence about the coming months thanks to higher output of the main fruit crops, orders from Asian customers, and opportunities from signed contracts.
The export turnover can exceed $7 billion for sure. Based on the current agreements between Vietnam and China, the total turnover could even smash more records.
Currently, businesses are closely cooperating with growing regions to improve the quality of agricultural products and enhance sustainable exports. At the same time, they are planning to transport goods by air and work closely with rail freight service providers amid surging global container freight fees.
Now, due to increasing budget transfers, the National Assembly has requested the government review the current mechanisms and policies regarding budget transfers. At the same time, they have asked the State Audit Office to enhance audits of state budget transfers during the annual budget settlement audits. The National Assembly requests the government to continue reviewing, canceling, and fully recovering state budget expenditures and central budget expenditures that supported localities in 2023. In addition, the government is asked to address improper management and use, as well as cancel and expire the budget estimated before 2022. This aims to reduce excessive central budget expenditures. No transfer for state budget expenditures and central budget expenditures supporting local management should be moved to 2024. Improper use, canceled, excess budget estimates, or those expired from dispersal must be recovered to the central budget. Now, it has been 7 years since the Vietnamese fisheries sector received the yellow card after a full inspection by the European Commission, or EC, combating IUU fishing in Vietnam has achieved remarkable results. However, some tasks haven't been effectively implemented, including law enforcement, dealing with IUU fishing violations, and coordination between law enforcement forces in the province and between localities. The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development and the Vietnam Border Guard held a conference on Tuesday to discuss resolving these shortcomings.
Up to now, nearly 100% of Vietnam's fishing vessels have installed vessel monitoring system equipment. However, disconnecting the monitoring equipment while at sea and violating foreign waters still occur. Only 21% of illegal fishing violation cases are properly dealt with. Resolution 04 of the Supreme People's Court's Council of Judges on IUU fishing, which will take effect on August 1st, is considered a show of determination by Vietnam.
When Resolution 04 comes into effect, the management of fishing vessels will certainly be effective. Additionally, we are directed to urgently prepare documents to handle violated cases immediately when the resolution comes into effect.
Moreover, there is a great need to strengthen the coordination between border control stations and fisheries management agencies at some fishing ports.
We will increase investment in monitoring system equipment and software for managing fishing vessel activities and work with the Border Guard, the Fisheries Resources Surveillance Department, and other agencies so that we can monitor all vessel activities and give early warnings.
Many fishing vessels, estuaries, and coastal waterways exist, but the law enforcement forces are spread very thin. What's most important is fishermen's sense of responsibility and the mobilization of the local authorities.
The EC is conducting its 5th inspection at the moment. Whether Vietnamese fisheries can have the yellow card removed or see it upgraded to a red card warning depends on the changes made by the fishing fleet starting today.
Now, before we move on to other important updates, let's take a look at the foreign exchange rates of today, June 26. Coming up next on VTV News. Northern region faces risk of landslides and flash floods. And fire prevention measures strengthened in urban residential clusters. Welcome back to VTV News. Now, the northern region, including Thanh Hóa and Nghệ An, on Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, continue to experience widespread thunderstorms, with some areas experiencing heavy downpours. This rainy period is forecasted to persist until the end of Wednesday. In the past 13 hours, the heaviest rainfall was recorded in Điện Biên, Phú Thọ, Thanh Hóa, Hòa Bình, Yên Bái, ranging from 93 to 116 millimeters. In Trấn Yên District, Yên Bái Province, some locations recorded up to 252 millimeters of rainfall. Wednesday's forecast indicates scattered thunderstorms in the northern region, Thanh Hóa and Nghệ An, with rainfall ranging from 15 to 30 millimeters, and localized heavy rainfall exceeding 80 millimeters. The heavy rain may trigger flash floods in rivers and streams and cause landslides on steep hillsides. Offshore, there are warnings of tornadoes and strong gusts reaching levels 6 to 7 during thunderstorms in the Gulf of Tonkin, coastal areas from Bình Định to Cà Mau, Kiên Giang, and the north and central regions of East Sea, including the Hoàng Sa Island District. Individuals are now able to receive a land use rights certificate in just a day. This smoother process for land-related matters is a result of the determination of localities regarding administrative procedural reforms. The land sector used to have the longest processing time and required the highest unofficial costs from citizens. However, Tuy Hòa City of Phú Yên Province has introduced a dedicated week to handle land administrative procedures, bringing out positive changes to the sector.
Lê Thị Kim Oanh, a resident of Quarter 6, Ward 2, finally saw her long-held dream come true, receiving a land use right certificate for her family's land. The Tuy Hoa City People's Committee issued the certificate on the very same day.
I was very surprised because I didn't think I could get the certificate within a day. I'm very happy.
Each month, Tuy Hoa City leaders and relevant units have a week dedicated to handling land-related procedures and support the locals in the process. Easy cases are prioritized for completion within a day. For more complicated cases, officers instruct applicants to rely on any needed documents.
We solved the previous issue of sending files back and forth between departments in the reviewing process. By sitting back together, we can cut the handling time to a day compared to 12 days in regulations.
During the dedicated week of handling land-related administrative procedures, Tuy Hoa City successfully handled 71% of the records faster than the previous time frame.
Urban areas in metropolitan areas such as Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City are usually characterized by their many old residential areas, houses close together, and long, narrow alleys. These features make it difficult for firefighters to rescue people when an accident occurs.
Located in the center of Hanoi, this alley is less than 1 meter wide, enough for only one person. Many houses had iron cages installed to provide extra living space. This 10-story food stall has its top floor as the kitchen, and the lower floor is for business. The building has only one exit. The Wards Authority requires the house to add an escape staircase, but with this architecture, such a thing is impossible.
For example, if a fire occurs on the first floor, people on the upper floor can't get out. The elevator is the only exit.
Hai Ba Cheong District's authority has inspected nearly 1,400 facilities. However, only 8% of them meet safety standards.
Many buildings have been in operation for 10 to 20 years. They cannot meet fire prevention and fighting requirements immediately.
Many localities have not conducted adequate inspections or handled construction project violations.
When an incident occurs, the head of the local authority must be accountable and responsible. District authorities are asked to strictly handle violations of construction orders to ensure a proper construction environment that adheres to the law.
Currently, Hanoi is continuing to review houses used at trading facilities, considering their high fire and explosion risks. This task is set to be completed in 1.5 months.
Ho Chi Minh City trade unions have allocated over $6.1 million to care for over 31,000 union members and workers in the city during Worker Month. Various activities have been organized, such as commemoration dialogues aiming to motivate workers and support enterprises. Many practical activities are being held, such as the Action Month for Occupational Safety and Health and the Health for Work Production Project. Unique events like Rest Stop provide free amenities such as parking, Wi-Fi, hot and cold water, and rest areas for traditional motorbike taxis and tech-based union members. The program also serves as a focal point for promoting traffic safety and public order awareness. Nậm Cắt commune was once a hotspot for drug trafficking and among the most poverty-stricken commune in Mù Cang Chải district in Bai province. Drug addiction and crimes led to several issues on security and order, pushing many households into poverty. As a result, local authorities have deployed drastic actions to push back drug abuse in the area. Nậm Cắt has become the first commune to meet new rural standards in Mù Cang Chải district this year.
This is a visit by Nậm Cắt commune officers. Thao A Lung has successfully quit drugs for 3 years. He has not relapsed and has a stable health condition. He can help his wife in many daily tasks.
Before, when I was addicted, I used to hang out with other addicts. Now that I'm clean, I can do all sorts of things like planting corn, farming, and gathering pigweed.
The number of addicts has decreased significantly. In 2023, the Commune police arrested one drug case with 2 subjects for illegal drug trafficking.
In 2001, Giang A Phong was sentenced to 12 years in prison for drug trafficking. Due to his good behavior, he was released early and received government support for loans to start a business. His family's livestock farming model has grown steadily and has become a model for economic development in the locality.
The government supports early releases. It has been 13 years since then. I'm determined to never return to drug trafficking. I stay at home to raise pigs, chickens, and goats, taking care of my family.
We will continue to deploy the program in other villages. Many models have supported local households to improve income, thereby increasing the number of communes reaching the new rural target.
From a drug hotspot, Nậm Khat has now transformed itself into the first new rural commune in Mù Cang Chải district. This achievement is the result of the determination and collective efforts of the commune in the fight against drug abuse.
Coming up next in our world news. Russian-US defense ministers hold phone talks. And world first epilepsy device fitted in UK boy's skull. Now moving on to our world news. Russian Defense Minister Andrei Belousov and his U.S. counterpart Lloyd Austin held a surprise phone call on Tuesday to discuss various issues, including Ukraine. Washington initiated the call. Russian Defense Minister Belousov stressed the risk of further escalation of the conflict due to the continued supply of U.S. arms to Ukraine forces. The Russian and U.S. defense chiefs also discussed the importance of open lines communication. This was the first phone call between the two countries' defense ministers since March 2023, when Sergei Shoigu was the head of the Russian Defense Ministry. The Russian Defense Ministry on Tuesday confirmed that Russia and Ukraine each exchanged 90 prisoners captured in the ongoing conflict. Russian released prisoners will be transported to Moscow by military transport aircraft and will receive medical checks at military medical facilities. Ukrainian President Zelensky also confirmed the information. The UAE facilitated the prisoner swap. The UAE's Ministry of Foreign Affairs reaffirmed its commitment to finding a peaceful solution to the Russia-Ukraine conflict, stressing the importance of dialogue, de-escalation, and diplomatic measures to resolve the conflict and minimize humanitarian consequences. About 52 million people living around Europe's busiest airports face health risk from fine particles released when aviation jet fuel is burned, the European Federation for Transport and Environment (TNE) warned on Tuesday. Ultrafine particles, about 1,000 times smaller than a human hair, are released during a plane's takeoff and landing. Their minuscule size makes them easier to penetrate human tissues, and there is growing evidence that these particles are harmful to people's health. However, ultrafine particles remain largely unregulated. The TNE said that reducing air traffic and improving jet fuel quality can mitigate the problem in the short term, with additional climate benefits. The family of a 13-year-old British boy with severe epilepsy has been given his hope back after a device was fitted into his skull to control seizures in a world-first trial. This breakthrough paves ways for research into the safety and effectiveness of deep brain stimulation for severe epilepsy.
Oren Nolson, from Somerset, has had Lennox-Gastaut syndrome since the age of 3 and has suffered regular daily seizures. Oren's mother said that her son had different seizures, requiring emergency medication. The Picostim neurostimulator, fitted as part of a trial at London's Great Ormond Street Hospital in October 2023, sends electrical signals into his brain and has reportedly since reduced Oren's daytime seizures by 80%.
But this study is hopefully going to allow us to identify really whether this is an efficacious treatment for epilepsy, and also is looking at a new type of device which is particularly useful in children because the implant is in the skull and not in the chest, and we hope that that will reduce the potential complications. Not easy.
The device's leads are connected to a neurostimulator anchored in a gap in Oren's skull. The neurostimulator emits a pulse of current to block or disrupt abnormal electrical activity in the brain.
We now know that we've left him with the leads exactly where we want them to be, so that gives the best chance of the device working and reducing the seizures.
Seizure-wise, we have seen a massive improvement, severity is less, and just overall, we're seeing a much better quality of life, I think, and he's happier.
Oren is part of the Cadet project, which investigates the safety, feasibility, and effectiveness of deep brain stimulation for treating children with Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. 3 more children with Lennox-Gastaut syndrome will be fitted with the deep brain neurostimulator as part of the trial.
Now let's move on to the weather forecast. And that's all the news we have for this hour. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile app VTVgo or check out our YouTube channel VTV4Go. Thank you for watching and see you next time.